There is a truth about respect that most men never learn until it's too late. A truth that quietly decides whether a woman sees you as a leader or as a backup option. Most men try to earn respect through niceness, through effort, through giving more of themselves, believing that respect can be bought with generosity. But a woman does not respect a man because of what he says. She respects a man because of how he moves, how he holds himself, how he responds to pressure, and what his presence communicates before a single word is spoken. What she feels in those first few interactions, the steadiness of your voice, the timing of your reactions, the calm in your eyes, the boundaries you live by without announcing them, decide everything. Respect is not requested. Respect is recognized. And if you have ever felt a woman lose interest, grow distant, become cold or dismissive, it wasn't because she stopped liking you. It's because something you did signaled instability, insecurity, or a lack of center. A woman can love a man without respecting him. But a woman cannot desire a man she does not respect. This video is not about becoming aggressive or arrogant. It is about understanding the ancient language of masculine presence, the language her instincts recognize instantly, long before her mind forms a single thought. A woman's instinct watches the smallest details, how quickly you explain yourself, how easily you react, how you breathe, how you hold your frame when the moment tightens. Evolutionary psychologists explain that female instinct evolved to detect a man's internal stability, his ability to withstand emotional pressure and uncertainty. Historically, her survival depended on choosing the man who stayed calm when the world grew chaotic. And that is the first truth. A woman respects a man who respects himself enough to act with discipline, restraint, and inner authority. Today you will learn the 7 behaviors that make a woman respect you immediately. Not theories, not abstract ideas, but real behaviors you can apply the moment this video ends. The centered pause. The first behavior is simple, but it carries enormous psychological power. Whenever a woman challenges you, questions you, tests you, gets emotional, or tries to provoke a reaction, pause before responding. This tiny moment of stillness communicates what no speech ever could. It says, I am grounded. I am not pulled by emotion. I choose my reactions. Most men react instantly. They explain. They defend. They try to fix. They scramble for approval. Instant reaction equals instant loss of respect because it reveals that your emotional world can be shaken easily. A woman's instinct does not consciously think. He paused, therefore he is strong. It simply relaxes because it senses stability, the same way a structure feels safer on solid foundations. She says, "Why were you being distant today?" Most men reply immediately, "No, I was. I was just tired. Did I upset you?" This shows insecurity and fear of disapproval. A high-value response is calm and steady. "I'm good, just focused today." Short, grounded, unbothered, she playfully says, "You're so weird sometimes." Most men flinch. "What? Why would you say that?" A man with centered presence says, "You'll be fine." The difference is enormous. One reacts from insecurity. The other responds from calm authority. Whenever someone asks you something before you respond, let one breath pass. This micro-discipline shifts your entire presence. Respect begins where reactivity ends. The slow, intentional voice. A woman decides how seriously she regards you not by the content of your words, but by the pace of them. Rapid speech signals nervousness and emotional instability. Slow, intentional speech signals authority, certainty, and quiet power. The rule is simple. Speak a little slower than you normally do, just slightly. Not dramatic, not forced, controlled. Fast speech says, "Please accept me. Please validate me. Please don't misunderstand me." Slowed speech says, "I'm not in a rush. My words have weight. I lead the pace of the moment." Imagine 2 men speaking. One speaks quickly, filling space, trying to entertain, trying to impress. She listens, but she feels nothing. The other speaks less often, and when he does, his words come slower, deeper, deliberate. He doesn't follow the energy in the room, he sets it. She feels something she cannot articulate, a strange gravity that pulls her in. She says, "I don't like your attitude today." A reactive man answers fast. "Why? What did I do? I'm fine, seriously." A respected man answers slowly. "Maybe. What do you mean?" Minimal words. Maximum presence. She asks, "Where do you want to go tonight?" Fast response. "Anywhere is fine, whatever you want." Strong response. "Let's go downtown." Decisive, simple, confident. A slow voice forces the world to meet you at your pace, and women feel that shift immediately. When you speak, soften your breath, drop your tone slightly, and remove unnecessary words. Let silence exist. Silence is not empty, silence is power. Hold eye contact 1 second longer. Eye contact is one of the oldest dominance signals in human history. Not dominance through force, dominance through composure. Holding eye contact for 1 second longer than you naturally would communicates strength, confidence, and emotional steadiness. Most men look away too quickly. Not because they are weak, but because they are uncomfortable being fully seen. A woman respects the man who can remain present in the intensity of a moment. When she is emotional or challenging you, many men look away or stare at the ground, signaling they cannot handle her emotional intensity. A respected man meets her eyes with calmness. He doesn't look away nervously. He doesn't scan the room. He stays present. She looks at you with playful challenge. Most men break eye contact instantly. A man with presence holds it just 1 beat longer, then looks away slowly. She feels the difference. What it signals: you are not intimidated. You are not trying to escape the moment. You are solid inside yourself. You are comfortable in your own body. A woman does not respect the man who collapses under her gaze. She respects the man who can meet it without flinching. Whenever someone speaks to you, hold eye contact slightly longer. Do this with everyone, not just women. Confidence becomes who you are, not who you pretend to be. Respect is not built in the big moments. It is built in the everyday details. The tone you use, the boundaries you set, the way you walk away when needed without drama or fear. The first 3 behaviors built your foundation: the pause, the voice, the eye contact. But respect cannot survive on presence alone. A woman respects a man who leads himself, who protects his dignity without apology, who knows what he stands for, and who refuses to abandon his standards even for someone he cares about. These next 4 behaviors are what separate the man she merely likes from the man she looks up to, trusts, and respects automatically. These behaviors redefine how she experiences you. They tell her instinct: this is a man who does not collapse. This is a man who does not chase approval. This is a man capable of strength, direction, and emotional control. Master these, and the respect you struggled for becomes effortless. State your preference without explaining. Most men believe that leadership means controlling everything. But true leadership begins with something much simpler: the ability to state what you want without fear, apology, or over-explanation. Women lose respect for the man who hides behind phrases like, "I don't care, you choose." "Whatever you want is fine." "I'm okay with anything." These statements sound polite, but what they really communicate is, "I'm afraid to make a choice. I'm afraid my decision will upset you. I'm afraid to lead." A woman does not want a dictator. She wants a man who can make a decision when needed and make it calmly. When she asks where to go, what to do, or what you prefer, she isn't testing your knowledge. She is testing your certainty. Say what you want plainly, directly, without justification. "I prefer here." "I want this one. Let's do this." No explanations, no apologies. When you state your preference cleanly, you communicate, "I am not afraid to show myself. I am not trying to please you at the cost of my identity. I lead by example, not force." A woman respects the man with preferences because he shows he has a life, a direction, a rhythm of his own. And women follow men who know where they stand. Do not chase emotional spikes. This is one of the most powerful behaviors a man can learn. Women do not test your knowledge, your strength, or your resume. They test your emotional stability, not to manipulate you, but to feel the truth of who you are. When she becomes irritated, distant, moody, confused, or overwhelmed, most men panic. They rush to fix. They blame themselves. They apologize excessively. They try to talk their way back into her approval. This destroys respect because it signals, I need you to feel good so I can feel good. I lose my center when you're upset. You control my emotional state. A man who cannot handle a woman's emotions will never earn her respect. Here is the truth. When her emotions rise, your emotions must stay leveled, not cold, not dismissive, just steady. When she becomes chaotic, you become calm. When she throws questions, you slow down. When she complains, you listen without losing yourself. A simple example, she says, "You never listen to me." Most men collapse into apology or argument. A man she respects stays steady and replies, "Tell me what you meant." No defensiveness, no fear, just presence. Another example, she becomes distant or withdrawn. Most men chase harder, send long messages, ask too many questions. A respected man gives her space and lets her emotion breathe. His world does not collapse because hers fluctuates. A woman respects the man who can stay standing when her emotional waves hit, because in her instinct, that is the man who can stay standing in life. Set small boundaries calmly. Weak men set no boundaries. Aggressive men set them emotionally. Respected men set them calmly and consistently. A boundary is not anger. A boundary is not punishment. A boundary is not a dramatic speech. A boundary is simply you saying, "This is the line." Without fear, without hostility, without over-explaining. Women automatically respect men who protect their space and dignity. Examples: if she interrupts you repeatedly, say, "Let me finish." If she raises her voice intentionally, say, "I don't continue conversations like this." If she tries to guilt trip you, I don't respond to pressure. Small boundaries communicate huge truth. I value myself. I do not fear losing you. I hold my standards even when it's uncomfortable. Men lose respect not because they lack strength, but because they refuse to use it. A woman cannot respect a man who sacrifices his dignity to keep the peace. She respects the man who protects his dignity without needing to fight. Walk away from disrespect. Calmly, this is the final and most powerful behavior. Every man faces a moment when a woman crosses a line. Not accidentally, not playfully, but intentionally. Most men either explode or tolerate it. Both reactions destroy respect. Exploding shows lack of control. Tolerating shows lack of self-worth. A respected man chooses the third path. He withdraws his presence. Not to punish her, not to manipulate her, but to protect the relationship and his own integrity. Walking away calmly is one of the strongest masculine signals a man can send. It says, "I will not fight you. I will not explain myself to chaos. I will not stay in a space where respect is lost. I value my peace more than your approval." Examples: if she becomes intentionally disrespectful, say, "We'll talk later," then leave. If she accuses you unfairly and refuses to discuss it maturely, say, "I'm not continuing this tone," then step away. If she insults you in a way that crosses your standards, say, "I'm not staying for this," then remove yourself. You are not abandoning her. You are teaching her how you must be spoken to. A woman respects the man who walks away cleanly because she knows he is guided by his principles, not his impulses. Most men are afraid to walk away because they fear losing her. But the truth is simple. A woman cannot respect the man who fears losing her more than he respects himself. The moment you walk away from disrespect, you become unforgettable. It is not built on compliments, gifts, effort, or trying harder. It is built on who you are under pressure, on the rhythm of your presence, on the boundaries you hold, on the choices you make when the moment grows tense. A woman respects the man who chooses silence over reactivity, direction over confusion, calm over chaos, and dignity over desire. When you use all 7 behaviors, something shifts inside her. Her tone changes, her energy softens, her interest stabilizes, her instinct relaxes into your presence, because she has finally met the rarest thing in the modern world, a man who leads himself, a man who protects his own peace, a man who does not chase or perform, a man who is guided by principles, not emotions. You do not earn respect by being perfect. You earn respect by being centered. And once she respects you, desire follows naturally. It always has. It always will. This is the quiet power of masculine presence. Not loud, not aggressive, not performative, just undeniable.